Hello, fellow learners. Professor Banasik here, and I thought we'd talk today about our discussion board, Unit 2.1, which deals with SOPA, Stop Online Piracy Act. Now, the temptation for students typically is when we see a new subject come up, we'll go to Google and do a search, figure out what it's all about, offer our opinions, off we go to the next topic. Well, let's do that and see what happens, see what we have to go through. So I'm going to open a new tab in my browser, and I'm going to use Google SOPA. Off we go. First thing that comes up, Wikipedia. Now, just let's talk about Wikipedia for a minute. In colleges, we cannot use it as a reference because there is no attribution typically to authors. There may be some leads, and that's the good part. If you know nothing about a subject, Wikipedia can give you some germane background by which you will then be able to perform further research and find some original sources. The next references we see are sopastrike.com, talking about phone calls about SOPA, Gizmodo, SOPA Explained, and SOPA Explained by money.cnn.com. Now, you would think, hey, there's a credible source, right? Maybe not. So CBS News and CNN and PBS and Fox and all of these public broadcasting sources have something in common. They all use internet websites for multiple purposes. Now, they may have actual cross biases, right? They may be biased in favor of SOPA because they actually create copyrighted material which they broadcast, and they do not necessarily want shared without getting some kind of reward for that. But they also retransmit other stuff. So will their internet websites be impacted by SOPA adversely? Perhaps. So there could be bias there. They're certainly going to give you information on SOPA that they feel is in their best interest to give to you. So if you were to rely solely on those types of sources, you would simply be parroting their opinions when you give yours. Unwittingly, probably. But you would be parroting or forming opinions based on perhaps narrow points of view or certainly selected information. So what could you do? Well, even using Google, now there are other sources, right? I mean, you could certainly go to the Post Library using ebscohost.com or other college libraries or the public library and find unbiased material. And you'll certainly do that for your papers that you submit and assignments. But in this discussion board, Google was going to be perfectly fine. All we need to do is go beyond the fold or beyond the first page so that we see some additional sources that may be a little more germane for our use. Oh, look, after we go past this little video, we see Stop Online Piracy Act bill text. This is the actual text of the legislation. That's the motherlode. That's the original information. That's what you need because you can actually read what the law is intended to do and figure out for yourself whether you think this is a good idea or bad. There may be other strengths in this legislation that have not been discussed by the media. There may be other weaknesses. Some of you so far have, done okay. Some have actually misinterpreted SOPA as dealing with phone calls monitoring by the government, and that's not the primary intent of this, although it could be a tangential effect. So anyhow, we have the actual bill here. If you miss that, you would go to CNET. That would not be a credible source because they would obviously have some bias. But we do find the government printing office. That's another one, the PDF of the actual file. So either of these sources would be just excellent. I like to get PDFs if I can, because what I immediately do, there's another PDF I happen to have open, but the new one that I'm downloading will open shortly. And what I do with PDFs is I first save them with a new name. This one comes in uh, as all downloaded documents do, with some kind of numbered name that they've used. And I like to rename them with the title of the document and one of the authors on the end. It's just a convention that I've adopted that serves me very well. And I'm changing all my security settings to allow this to download, lucky me. So here is the bill. So there's a table of contents. Um, it's only 78 pages, so it's not a big deal because this is all triple spaced and very fat margins. So there are probably, 25 to 30 pages of real data here. And you can use the table of contents to find what may be most germane for you. So that's my tip today. Go for original information. Of course, use attribution when you post to the discussion boards. I hope you have fun with the discussions. This is a very interesting topic, I think, and certainly very topical today because there's lots going on with internet piracy and other such maladies in the internet. Have fun with this. I'll see you on the discussion boards.